I am making my way to Thika, one of the biggest towns in Kenya, a town of 250,000 people. The town center is some few meters from here, but that is not my destination for today. Today I want to visit one of the biggest slums in the town. I'm told the town has 3 to 4 slums. The slum is also ranked the biggest outside Nairobi in the country. The slum goes by the name Kiandutu. It got its name from jiggers, so you know what to expect. We'll be hitting there in less than a minute. But don't be too quick to judge. This is not your ordinary slum. It has some of the biggest industries in the country. About 4 hours inside, I'll be showing you later. And it is surrounded by more than 10 manufacturers. If I decide to turn left, I'll be hitting Thika town center in less than a minute. But I want to continue this way. This is Garissa Road, goes all the way to Garissa town. Our destination is about 200 meters from here. Thika is one of the most well-planned towns in the country. It has a town center, slums, rich neighborhoods, and suburbs. I'm reminded I made a video on Thika town a few months ago, and so you can go and check it up later. But in the meantime, let's meet in Kandutu Slums in the next second. I'll be leaving the highway and I'll be turning right in a few seconds just to get into the slums. They are just next to the highway. And although the planners of these towns were the greatest because they planned this town as the city of the future, one blunder that I think they made is allocating Thika Cemetery next to the town center. The cemetery are just next to these slums. They were on my right as I was entering the town. And you know, as Africans, you have a lot of issues with the dead. We don't even like the topic. It's our thing. But apart from that, the town is doing quite well, and it will soon become a city. I'm sure in most Western countries, a town with more than 250,000 people is already a city. So far, so good. We are in the outskirts of Kandutu Slums, and this is the front line. Behind these shops, there are semi-permanent houses, most of which are residential, low-cost houses. And one thing I'm liking about this place is that business is doing quite well. All I can see along this street are businesses. We will also be diving right inside the slums to see how the people live. And I'll also be showing you the few industries that are in the slums. We will also be visiting the social amenities in the area, schools, hospitals, just name them. And so stay tuned until the end. And kindly make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Village to Town TV, a channel that is dedicated to continue showcasing beautiful villages, towns, and cities across the continent of Africa. Another thing I'm liking about these slums is that the social amenities are well improved. For instance, you can see this road, it is well done. Also, the town is well lit. Electricity is everywhere. Well, history goes that the slums were started as a residential area for the people who could not afford modern houses in Thika town. Remember, the town was started as an industrial town, mostly by the whites and the Indians. They still control a huge part of these industries up to date. But that was not my point, it was just a digress. Remember, this is in the 1940s and 50s, and a lot of people, the black Africans, are coming from their villages and they are landing in the new town to look for jobs. And these industries are providing a lot of opportunities to these Africans, but the salary is a bit low since most of them are not educated. So they are seeking for opportunities for the unskilled. And since the new job cannot afford them a decent house in town, have a decent meal, and send some cash back home, and so they are forced to look for cheaper dwelling houses in town. And to bridge this gap, new slums emerged in the town, with Kiandutu being the biggest. There are others, I'll be taking you there some days. They include Athena, which is named after the Greek goddess Athena, which was associated with wisdom, strategic warfare, craft, and the city of Athens. I'm sure a good number of old-timers here are quite familiar with the Greek mythology. Other slums that emerged during this time include Gashagi and Kiangombe. I just went past the slums. I'll be getting there in a few seconds. I promised you I'll be getting inside and show you how the people live down here. But I hope you can see some industries. They are right in front on my right. I told you Thika town has a thing for industries. This one seems to be quite small, but they are a bit new. Only 2 go downs and big work starts. And this is one of the things that has made the town one of the biggest in the country and the richest. In fact, a few years ago, I'm sure most old-timers can recall this, Thika was referred to as the Kenyan Birmingham. You know, they used to liken Thika with the Birmingham city, which I'm told is the most industrious in the UK. By the way, shout out to Simon Wangoto and Steve Mutumbu in the UK, some of the biggest fans of Village to Town. And so you can imagine how big Thika was in terms of the industries. And this has also contributed to Kiambu County being one of the richest counties in the country, big time. You know, establishing industries is the way to go. They say if you want to grow an economy organically, just embrace manufacturing. I'm looking for a road that will take me to the center of the slums. We want to see the residential area. Remember, along the main road is mostly commercial. Another town in Kiambu County that is really giving Thika town a run for its money as far as industrialization is concerned is Ruiru. I'm sure from the onset you can see this is a slum, with Mount Kilimambogo clearly visible in the background. You can see the type of houses, mostly are mabatis. And not the so nice mabatis. You know, there are some beautiful semi-permanent houses made of iron sheets out here. But this one looks a bit old. It is an informal settlement, so don't be quick to judge. In terms of security, of course, it is not the most secure place in the world. A few decades ago, especially in the 90s and 2000s, it used to be the worst. But probably things have changed of late. Maybe the locals and the people who are quite familiar with this area can tell us. Just feel free to write us on the comment section down below and we'll appreciate. I want to turn around and I can see another industry here on my right. This one is a milling company. I don't know the type of flours they are making. It is also right in the middle of the slums. There is also a mother here minding her own business. You know, such women embodies resilience, love and care. Shout out to all the mothers out there. I'm still doing my round inside the slums and I want to get to this healthcare facility. It is a government hospital, one of the few social amenities serving the community. We want to see the status of the infrastructures inside. And one thing I'm observing in this slum is that despite this being an informal settlement, the government is doing a lot to improve the lives here. I've noticed roads, hospitals, electricity. I've also noted there's a police station next to the hospital. And I'm not quite sure whether it is the national government, the county government, the Constituency Development Fund, although I'm told it is part of the national government. Whether it is the previous government or the current government, the donor community, all we can say is that someone somewhere is doing a good job or did a good job because this is a work already done. And speaking of the donor community, it is quite huge here, all because of the industries. You know, there's a lot of heavy investors in Thika. And you know, most of these industrialists are philanthropists. You know, philanthropy or sharing with the poor is the hobby for most rich. I honestly don't know the connection between the wealthy and philanthropy, but the culture is very rampant, and Kiandutu, being one of the biggest slums in a rich town, must be one of the biggest beneficiary of these programs. In fact, I'm told there is a high school next to the slums, which is built and maintained by one of the biggest industries in the country. The industry is also next to the slums. I'll be showing you the school. I don't know whether they still manage the school, but it is named after the factory. I'll be passing there in a few seconds. It is a high school. It seems like this is the town center for the slums. And you can see right in front, the place is quite busy. It is like the official Kiandutu shopping center. But I want to turn right. I want to show you some few social amenities, including the school I just promised. Like for instance, on my right is Kiandutu police station. And you all know the ripple effect of having a police station inside the slums. Right in front, there's a primary school. Currently, they are going by the name Comprehensive Schools. It is part of modernization, and this is because they have ECD, primary schools, and junior secondary schools right inside. Well, next to the comprehensive school, they have a high school, and it is going by the name Broadway's High School, Thika. You can see the blue fence on my right. That's the school. And this school is named after the Broadway's Bakery Limited, which is one of the biggest bread producer in the country. I'm sure you have seen their bread somewhere. Of course, that is if you are Kenyan. And the factory is just next to the school. And so we can say it is one of the factories in Kiandutu Slums. Started in 1958 here in Thika town. The bakery was designed to supply bread here in town. That is Thika town. But currently I'm told it has a production capacity of producing 100,000 breads per day. Well, that's a big one. I'm also told that the company was started and is still managed by an Indian family. Well, I'm sure someday we'll have the courage of discussing the role of the Indians in the Kenyan economy because it is a big one. I want to quickly check at the real estate segment as I leave town. And unfortunately, I could not find any property which was on sale. Probably this is because Kandutu is an informal settlement. Maybe, and I'm saying maybe, the lands have no title deeds. But some few properties were up for rent. And what I learned is that with 4,000 Kenya shillings, you have a very decent house here. You can also rent a dwelling unit with 2,500 Kenya shillings. That is a month. And so probably this is the most affordable area in Thika town. And speaking of plots, I'm reminded I'm disposing my 2 plots of lands. They are in Jos Kakamulu, measuring 50 by 100 each. They are next to each other, quite prime. And each is going for 750,000 only. So if you are interested, just contact me. Ready title deeds and no middlemen. We are still doing our rounds in Thika town. We just left the slums, but we are still in the neighborhood. I want to turn left as I want to show you some more industries that are next to Kiandutu. So I'm sure you can see an industry on my right, and that is the Bidco Africa Limited. This is a big one, trust me. They produce a good percentage of all the known brands in the country. I'll share some of their pictures. You can tell me, maybe you know some. I want to quickly check out the numbers, and it is good to remember that this is Thika town with a total population of 245,820, and that is as of 2019. And of course, with an annual growth rate of 5.9%, I'm sure the population has already hit the 300,000 mark. The town's population density is 2,689 people living in a square kilometer, which is quite a number. And in terms of the gender distribution, 50.9% of the people living in town are females, while 49.1% are males. The number of the intersex living in town is a bit insignificant as far as the percentage are concerned, but there are only 18 in Thika town. In terms of age distribution, out of the 250,000 people living in town, only 3,582 are aged 65 and above. That's quite a small number. It means that in terms of percentage, only 1.5% are aged 65 and above. Anyways, let me leave it at that. This is the Mount Kenya University, one of the biggest private institutions in the country. But also make sure you watch the scenic video until the end. And if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly consider doing so. It is absolutely free, but means the world to us. Also like the video so that it can be recommended to as many people as possible, and smash the notification bell so that every time we post, you will be among the first few people to be notified. Also, you can check out our sister channel, Kikuyu Traveling Media. Kindly subscribe and watch our regular content. Thank you.